All right, thanks very much for joining us today. Today's topic will primarily focus on the Report Studio Word add-in and designing a template for it. If you're new to the software, the Report Studio itself is part of FLIR Tools Plus. We have two programs now. We have FLIR Tools, which we've had for a while, and we've had Tools Plus for a while as well. The Tools Plus, generally speaking, enables three extra features. Microsoft Word reporting, which again we're going to talk about today, sequence recording from certain cameras, USB and Ethernet cameras, and also a panorama module for combining images. So with the upgrade from Tools to Tools Plus, those are the three features you get. This Report Studio add-in is a fairly new plugin or add-in for Microsoft Word that allows you to create your own templates and your own, well, obviously your own reports in Microsoft Word rather than in the FLIR Tools kind of environment. So they're Word templates, they're Word reports, and the Report Studio replaces the older add-in that we've had for a while. We've had FLIR Reporter if you've been using the software for a while. FLIR Reporter was around for a long time. We transitioned to Tools Plus, which used the same add-ins, so that has been around for a while. This is very new and redesigned basically from the ground up. Now, why would you want to upgrade? We get this question. There are a lot of kind of cool features that we'll demonstrate here, but two of the main problems that we had with the older add-in, as the cameras, the resolution increased of the images in particular, you had more data to work with. We found some pretty severe limitations with the report size with the old add-in. With some of the newer cameras, you're limited to maybe 10 or 20 pages per report before Word would just kind of just lock up. So that limitation is overcome with this new add-in. You can make reports with hundreds of images. So that's an important improvement. The other problem that we've had for a while is with regards to Office compatibility. The old add-in had to use 32-bit Office. This new add-in can use 32-bit or 64-bit Office. So that limitation is gone with Report Studio. And there are some other, like I said, kind of cool features that are included with Report Studio. We have a new wizard that I'll demonstrate briefly here. Once we build the template, we'll make a real quick report. And the wizard is just a different approach to creating a report. With Tools Plus, as we've known it, you start in the library, you send images to Word. With this, you now have the option to use a wizard and select the images and build a report that way. So it's just a different approach. One of the very cool features that I like is the ability to have multiple page styles in one template. So, for example, you can have an IR and photo page and a single IR page and a 2 IR page, all bundled into the same template. And then when you make the report with the wizard, you can either have it decide which page to use, or you can pick the pages that you want to use for those images. You can edit images from inside the wizard, so you don't really need to use FLIR Tools if you don't want to. You can do pretty much everything from the wizard. There's a new template creator module now in Word. We're going to start with that so you know where to begin and kind of give you an idea of the process involved with creating these templates. All right. Just a note, if you're upgrading, it's free. If you have Tools Plus, if you have Reporter, it's a free upgrade to go to Tools 6 with Report Studio. One of the challenges for existing users is that the templates, the older templates, are not going to work in Report Studio. You have to redesign them. The add-ins are completely different, if you're considering upgrading. And the two versions cannot coexist on the same PC. That's another thing to keep in mind. So you can't have Tools 5 and Tools 6 running side by side. You have to pick one or the other. So I've been recommending to people, if you have an extra PC, maybe put Tools 6 on there, get your template going so you don't interrupt your daily work, and then you can more slowly transition over to the new version. All right, that's enough of that. Now we can...
We had a little bit of an echo there. Hopefully that remedied the problem. I think we had an active mic, so...
Oh, sorry.
So we're good. We're
Okay.
good. We're looks like Mr. Robert there said we're back on. So appreciate it, Robert. Thanks for the feedback.
Good deal. All right.
I'll mute this, and that way you can focus on what you got to do.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, so I'm going to start inside Microsoft Word. So let's just say that we just installed it. We want to make a new template to work with. So the first step is to just open Word because it's an add-in inside Word. So it just becomes a tab. As soon as you activate Tools Plus, it enables Report Studio, and it installs this tab inside Word. And the concept is similar to the older add-in. If you're familiar with the old add-in, this concept is basically the same. All your reporting tools, your template design tools are all inside Word on this one tab here with these buttons. One big difference with this is that in order to create a new template, you have to start with this Create New Template wizard or module, however you want to describe it. The older version, you could just start building the template and save it. That doesn't work anymore. You have to start here to build the framework for the template and set up the pages. So this is the first thing I'm going to do here. I'm going to just do Create New Template. And you can create a brand new template, or you can create from an existing Report Studio template. So if you like the sample templates, you can pick one of those, edit it, and save it. But in this case, I just want to create a new template from scratch. Now, with any of these templates, you'll see this new task pane, and this shows you the different sections that are available in the template. By default, you have 3 sections. An intro section, which would be for like a cover page. You could link up report properties, that type of thing. The data section, which is where you would put your image data, our image, photo, tables, all of that. And then a final section, which kind of like the intro, you could have extra information, pictures, text, and so on. And you can also use a summary table on the intro and the final section, but not the data section. So you have to have at least one data section. The other sections are optional. So if you don't want an intro section, you can right-click on it. You can delete that part. But you can also add a template part. So, and this is where the page styles come in, where you could have multiple IR page styles in one template. So I'm going to right-click and add a template part, and we're going to just call it IR only. And so now that sets up my intro. I have my data, which is my default template page. This is my IR only template page, and then my final. Okay. So I'm going to start on the default data page. I'm going to put an IR and a photo just side by side, and we'll put a table on the page. We'll try to keep it fairly basic here. So I prefer, when I start building these, to use the Word tables if I'm inserting things side by side. So something I've done for a while with the older templates. It just kind of keeps things formatted. So I'm going to go to Table. This is just a Word table, right? Insert, Table. I'm going to do 2 columns, just like that. All right. And we can hide the borders. All right. So in the left column, I'm going to go to the FLIR tab, and I'm going to insert a thermal image placeholder into that column. So that's where the thermal image is going to go when you make the report. To the right of that, put the digital image in. Okay. Now, one thing that you might want to do is resize these images. If you just click and drag like this, they don't resize. They're kind of locked. So if you wanted to resize the IR picture or the photo, you have to right-click, and you have to click this Resize menu here. So right-click on the thermal or the visual placeholder, click on Resize to kind of unlock it, and now you can resize either picture. So if you wanted to make the visual maybe a little bit smaller, we could pretty easily do that. There we go. And another thing you can do when you're in the resize mode is adjust the alignment. So if you wanted to center it, for instance, that's on the Home tab. So anytime you want to change the alignment of the pictures or resize them, just remember to right-click and go to resize. This is new to this add-in. We didn't have to do this with the older add-in. That's why I wanted to emphasize.
Sorry to interject. We just had a couple of people saying that they lost video. We temporarily paused the webcam as we're actually running the software demo here, but the main presentation should be available on your screen. So you will see the paused sort of notice there on the webcam, but Jason is running Word and a PowerPoint presentation and the main presentation separately from that. So hopefully that sort of clarifies that.
Yeah, you should see, basically right now you should see Word with 2 images. My mouse is moving now, so if you can't see that, let us know.
And it's under view options, you might be able to reset your view there with full screen on your GoToWebinar control panel on the right side. Sorry, thanks.
Yep, no problem. Okay. Okay, so we've set up the page with the thermal image and the photo. Next thing you typically would want to do is put a table on the page to show some image information. And the way the tables work is different from what we're used to if you're used to the old add-in. This is a little bit different. On the table button, there is an arrow that shows a list of different kind of predefined tables that you can place on the page. So, for example, there's a measurements option, which will put a table on the page that links to all the temperature measurements that could be in the image. There's a parameters table. So these are kind of just predefined tables. If you wanted to create a table that has more than one type of information, maybe a mix of file information and measurements and that type of thing, then we can go to Table right here at the very top. And we can go to Create to create a custom table. The nice thing about this feature is that you can reuse these custom tables. You can have many different types of tables, and it will save them. Anytime you create one, it saves them. And then you can make a new template. You can insert a table. If you're in a document, you can insert a table, and it has your predefined settings, like a default table. So the first thing you have to do is just give it a new name. Just call it new table, something like that. And then all the information that you can put in these tables is divided up into these groups. So you have file info, parameters, geolocation for GPS, that type of thing, camera info. So you can go through these and find the information that you want to show and just double click on it. So I want to show image date and time. We'll show file name, maybe emissivity, camera info, maybe camera model, and some temperature data. So with these tools like spot meters, it's going to automatically show all the spot meters. And if I go to areas, I can show all the areas with the maximum temperature of all the areas. So that's how the measurement functions work. And then in the preview area, you can use these arrows to change the order of them. So you can move a certain item up or down. Once you're happy with what's in the table, you can click OK. Now we have a new table. So this custom area is where your new tables are going to live. So these 3 I've made on this machine. So now I want to insert a new table, the one I just made. There we go. Now the other one that I had made previously, if we go back up to table, any of your custom tables are going to show up here. So it kind of groups them here. So this table that I made before is set up to show text, just text. So I can just click that to add that, and it comes up just to make sure you know what it's going to show you. This is like a kind of a preview before it puts it on the page. So I have this set to show text annotations and notes, nothing else. That's what it shows in the preview. And we go OK, and there we go. All right. So now I pretty easily added 2 tables to the page, one showing some image data, one showing some text.
So question just came up, and I can get this one in real time from Greg. How did you get the insert table to come up? Was that I guess, did it come up automatically? I was answering another question. I didn't get a chance to catch that.
Which,
Greg, which table was that?
Yeah, which part of was it inserting in the predefined or?
Well, while he's clarifying, and
Okay.
we'll come back to that,
Yeah, we can.
the question came from Naveen, can we have two IR images and compare the changes automatically to show before and after?
Between the two images, I don't think so. I might have to check on that.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Greg was asking inserting the table options. I don't know if that.
Inserting the table option. To make a new table, if that's what you're asking, if you go to table at the top here and then go to create, this is pretty much where you can add all the parameters. So you double click on these different items.
That's it.
Is that it?
Yep,
okay,
that was it.
Cool.
Thanks, Jason.
Okay. Yeah, I might be going a little, I'll try not to go so fast. So we have the thermal image in the photo, the image table, and the text. So one advantage of this being in Word is that these tables behave a lot like regular Word tables, more so than the older add-in that we had. With this new add-in, if I can highlight this table and go to Design, and I can just apply a new format to the table. So Word basically, in this sense, treats it just like a regular table. The only unique thing is that these fields are linked up to our image. Now, one new thing with this, or difference, I guess I should say, is that you can't just right-click on a table and change the contents like we used to be able to do with the old add-in. There's no option for that. So if you wanted to change something from this table, what you can do is just right-click and delete the table. Then we can go up to our table menu. I can say, I want to insert my new table, but I want to either rearrange something. If I go to edit, oops, sorry, I missed a step. So we have to go to edit. Let me do that again. I kind of missed that step. All right. So I want to insert a table with some changes, right? So I want to go to table. I'm going to go to new table. I have to go to edit to make changes to that table. And now we have the option to rearrange these items, and this little trash icon will delete them. So this is essentially how you can make changes to an existing table. So we make the changes here, we click OK. Now it only shows a few items. We click OK again. It inserts the new table with the changes. So it's a different approach, but the end result is basically the same. Okay, so you just delete it from the page, go up to table, pick your table, go to edit and make the changes. I'm just going to keep this fairly simple here with these tables because I want to show you the second data page that we can do. So let's go down. I made this IR only page originally when we first started because I want to have this page and I want to have this other page. For this page, I don't want to have a photo. I just want to put a thermal image on this page, just right there. Make it as big as I can so I can right-click and resize. Can stretch that out to fill the page as best we can. And maybe I'll put a table down here for it. So go to table and I'll go to my other table, this one.
Can you rename the table heading or add your own table header? Are you familiar with that?
Like where it says my table at the top. That's the name of the table.
Which is my table, I guess. Yeah.
That's just because I called it that.
Okay.
You can call it anything.
You can call it anything you want. Okay.
When you create these tables, there's an option, if I go to create here, to name the table. So you can call it electrical table or something more practical than just my table in order to kind of differentiate them. And then you do have the option to not show that header. That's what this check mark is for right here. So that will hide, if you don't want to have that title at the top of it, I can delete that.
Hopefully that answers your question there, Christopher, but it sounds like we can customize it based on whatever you want to name it.
Yeah, you can name them anything, and then when you insert the table, this check mark here should hide the name, so it doesn't say like my table at the top. So it just shows the information without the without the header.
Okay.
So okay. All right. So now I have my 2 data pages, my IR and photo, IR only. On the final page, I want to add a summary table. This also is on the table menu, but when you're on the intro or the final section, all the other options are grayed out because you can only use a summary table on these back sections. So I'm going to insert summary table. By default, it typically shows you some items already in this list. So if this is what you want, you can just pick the items that you want. But generally, what you're going to want to do is go to Add to pick. This gives you access to all of the image data. So you can go to Add and you can pick specifically what you want to show in this table. So I can, file name maybe. Page, oops, sorry. Go to file name. We can go back to Add. Page number is a pretty common thing to show in a summary table. So we can double click on page number. That's also in the file info group. We can show, let's say like area maximum. And you can show text annotations. So if you're using this feature in your camera or in the FLIR Tools software where you can enter text annotations, you can show this in the summary table. You have to add the label manually. So, for example, if I wanted to show an equipment label in the summary table, I can pick text annotations. In this middle section where it says entry, I can hit the plus, and I can add equipment just like that, and then double-click on the value to add it to this main list here. You can do the same thing. If I go back to Add, I can go to Text Annotations, so you just kind of repeat the process for different labels, so like location. And then double-click on the value. So if these fields are in the image, it will show the value. If not, it will just leave it blank. And you can add them after the report's made.
Got a couple of questions that came in. Is this the same as the index page? And they were asking about the index page and the summary page. Are those pages that we've mentioned, or
I'm not sure.
A couple of people are asking about index pages.
I'm not sure what that means.
Okay, we'll come back to that then. That's fine.
Okay, yeah.
Greg was wondering, where did you select choose summary fields?
That is right there. Let me close this. I'll show you where. So let me finish this thought. I'll come back to that. So basically what I've done here is I've picked these 5 items that I want to add to my summary table. So with these checked, I can click OK, and you can reorder these. So if you want a page number to be the first column, you can use these arrows to move them up and down. So this is the order that they're going to be in. When I click OK, there you go. All right. To create the summary table, I had to go up to the table button right here, and then at the very bottom is the summary table. That's where it comes up with the starting point, basically, for it. Okay. So now we have a summary table. Now I'm going to go back and just on the intro page, we'll just put report because we don't have a lot of time here. But on the cover page, it's pretty open-ended. I mean, you can add pictures and text, and you can put a summary table. So the intro and the final pages, you can put any kind of text and word tables and whatever else you want to put at the beginning and the end of your report. And then you can, use a summary table on either of those. And there's also this option for report properties. We're running a little short on time here, but this report properties option on the FLIR tab can be used to add sort of report fields. So if you wanted to put a thermographer label, you could do something like that here. Company, address, that type of information, not image specific, but more general information. So that's on this report properties button. So I just click add. You can click add to add other rows, and then just click OK to put it on the page. All right. So we have a cover page, 2 data pages, and a final page with a summary table. So now, to use this to create a report, we have to save it as a Word template. It's important that it's a template and not a document. It has to be a template to work with our software. So make sure the Save As type down here says Word template. And then you can save it anywhere you want. I have a folder that I made for Report Studio templates. So I can put it in here. We'll just call it class for now. So I'm going to add it to my list of templates. All right, and we will hit save. So now I can close Word. And I can use this Report Studio wizard to make a report using that template. I can double click here to launch the wizard. And then these are all your sample templates. So this is everything that comes with, well, for the most part, that's a custom template there, but most of these are sample templates that come with the software. If you want to use your own custom template, you can either import it into this list, or you can browse to select it. The import will keep it in the main list, so you don't have to browse every time. But the end result's really the same. If you go to browse, you can just pick your template and say open, and then it will just jump right to the next step. Okay, so I just browsed for it. I selected the new template. Now, this is where you would add your images to the report. And so the nice thing about the wizard is that you have access to all your drives and all your folders on your machine. And you can just browse through here, through your C drive and so on to find, wherever you keep them. If you have a folder that you typically use for your inspections, you can add it to the favorites list. This is like shortcuts to your commonly used folders. So you can right-click on any of these folders and add to favorite, and then it puts it in this main list at the top. So that's why I went right to this. I only have these 2 folders here because these are typically what I use. So that's selected. Over on the data section, this is where you can pick the IR page that you want to use. So we have 2. We have the default with the IR and photo. We have the IR only with just a single IR. That's because the template was set up that way. But I'm going to let it just pick it. I'm going to leave it set to auto. We can drag these images over.
As that's coming over, we've got some other questions that just came in. We'll hit those here at the end. We're going to wrap up in a couple minutes.
We're just about done.
Yeah, this has been perfect. This is sort of our first run through. Jason put this together, thankfully, for the questions that you're having. So hopefully we're getting to some of those. But I think we'll run this at least once more before the end of the year. So.
Oh, I think so.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, now all the images are here in this page list. Most of them have a matching photo, which is pretty common these days. This one does not. This is just a thermal image with no photo. So it automatically picks the IR-only page. So now we can hit Generate. There's our report properties. So it pops this box up right away. So I can enter my fields and click OK. And now it's going to build the Word document.
And for those of you that maybe got on with us a little bit late here today, we are recording today's presentation, so it will be available for playback at a later date. Next week or so, we'll have that up.
All right. And here's your report. So we only added one report property. The cover page is pretty boring, but it fills it in right there. Here's the first of the image pages. So these all use the IR and photo page. Text annotations are showing, so all these images have text in them. There's the IR only page, so it didn't see a photo here, so it picked the right page automatically. And then we have this. And in the summary table, there we go. So it lists the page number, the file name. I don't have any boxes on these yet, but for these three images, it picked out the equipment and location fields because these images contain those fields. So the summary table, because we linked it up to those labels, it fills in the values. These images are all editable inside Word. I can pick any one of these. It's not active in the document like it used to be with the old add-in. You have to double-click on the image to bring up the image editor, which will bring up pretty much like a full screen image editor. And by design, this looks a lot like FLIR Tools. You have all your measurement functions on the left, your parameters and your text over here on the right. So it's very, very similar. And of course, we have full control over the palette and so on. I can add a box. I can add a spot meter, and I can change the text too. So if I wanted to put something different here, I'll just put some numbers after it so we can see that it's different. Click Save. Close that out. So you can see that instantly updates the page. So you can see it in the image, plus my table now shows a spot in a box. We go down to the summary table. We can see the changes there as well. So now I have a box, and I just added some text to the location field, so you can see that it was different. But this was blank before we edited the image and added that box. So the summary table is just, it updates automatically. You don't have to do anything special. And I think that's we'll probably end it there for today. But that gives you just a
Back live on the webcam.
Just a general overview of the process of how to make a report, some of its capabilities, and how you can, make a template and then make a report. But the wizard is new. That's why I wanted to demonstrate that. You can still make reports from inside the FLIR Tools library if you like. That process is exactly the same. There is also a new drag and drop. Are we still sharing? Can I show that?
Yeah, I'll go back. Let me make you presenter again. If we can demonstrate that. Go for it.
Let me just show that real quick, because
There you go.
This is kind of a neat thing. Don't know if a lot of people know that we have this, but from FLIR Tools, you have to do this from FLIR Tools. I can, pick an image, and when you pull down the Generate Report menu, I have my folder linked up, so it shows my new template that I just made. So you can make the report from here, just like we've been doing for a while. So you can select your images, pull that down, click on the template. But if you right-click, you can also create a desktop shortcut to the template. So, and all I got to do is click on it, and then we can close this. I actually had one on here already, so I have my template and I have this new one. So this gives us the ability to do this and just drag it and drop it. And it should bring up the report properties window. Typically it will show that, and then it will build the Word document. Okay. So it's a quick way to just make a report without having to launch FLIR Tools or the wizard or anything. So there's 3 different ways really that you can go about this, making the report. So, okay.
Well, a good question to maybe start it off with. Nick was asking, where does this fit in with FLIR Tools? And that's a question I get a lot, is Report Studio. Is this a supplemental feature of FLIR Tools or a separate standalone program? How does that?
It's similar to how the old add-in was. It's part of Tools Plus.
Okay, it's part of Tools Plus.
So we just renamed it to Report Studio. Yeah, as soon as you if you install Tools version 6,
yep.
So there's 2 versions. There's version 5 that still has the old add-in that we've been using for a while. And there's Tools version 6. When you enable Tools Plus with version 6, it unlocks Report Studio. So you don't have to do anything special as far as that goes.
Okay.
Just when you install Tools Plus, or when you install FLIR Tools, it puts everything on there that you need. If you decide to upgrade, you just enter the license code, and then it will unlock the Plus features, including Studio.
And what's the cost of the upgrade there?
The cost for us in the U.S. is around $300 for the Tools Plus license.
Okay.
If you have an existing license, though, it's free. So like a Tools 5 license or a Reporter license. The Tools license you can just put into version 6. You don't have to do anything special. If you have a Reporter license on that Support Center website, you can exchange it for a Tools Plus license.
Okay.
So for a lot of users, if you're upgrading, it's not going to cost you anything.
So the question Oscar had a little while ago, and that's, as a new user, he would just download 6 and then upgrade to Tools Plus and go from there.
If you don't have any existing templates to worry about, then yeah, I would recommend going right to 6 in Studio. Stop there, yeah.
And at this time, there's no Mac compatibility with 6, correct? Is that
correct?
Okay.
Yep.
If they have a Mac, is there an OS version of FLIR Tools they should be using?
There's a basic free version that you can get in the App Store, but it doesn't have any word reporting.
Okay.
So the Tools Plus and the Report Studio are compatible with Windows 7, 8, and 10. And for Office, we recommend 2010 or higher.
Okay. Let's see. We had another question that came in. Well, the indexing, I think we addressed there earlier, so I think we're good there.
Yeah.
Can you insert a live image? Did we talked about that, right? I believe so.
No, not in Word.
Not in okay,
not in Word.
Okay. So.
You can connect live in FLIR Tools if you have like a USB video or Ethernet camera, and you can grab JPEGs. So you can do that from the FLIR Tools interface.
Ivan was asking about MSX images. I would assume it's compatible with all of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that shouldn't be an issue.
Yeah, in fact, on the image editor, you can change modes.
Let me give you, I'm going to get toss control back to Jason. That way he can show you.
I can show real quick. Yeah, the MSX is a camera, a property of the camera, and all the modern software supports that. So let me pick, I could use this one here. If you double click on these whenever you edit these images, just like in FLIR Tools, you'll have like an image mode. Get it to come up. There's an image modes toolbar right up here. So this is automatically showing MSX, but you can always change to these different modes. So as long as you have an MSX or a Fusion image, you have all these different modes available to you. This is just the same as the FLIR Tools image editor as far as that goes.
Oscar was asking also about large reports. Is there an ability to sort pages based on severity?
I don't think so.
Okay, I didn't think so either.
I don't think so. That would be complicated in Word to do that. You could sort the summary table alphabetically in a way, but you'd have to watch the page because it would say like page 1 or page 10 and page 7 because of the page numbering would all be mixed up. But you could pick a column in the summary table and sort it. That shouldn't harm anything.
Okay.
But you just have to be aware that they're not in like page order, literally row by row. So you'd have to really pay attention to the page number there.
Okay.
But, yeah.
Can you sort, or I'm sorry, can you zoom and or crop the images in the template realm?
Not
I guess is the question.
at the moment. No,
The
that's
same thing with tools too. Then it's
tools you can
a little bit. Okay.
Yeah, on the tools image editor, if you have the latest one of the newer versions, there's a little zoom button on the measurement toolbar towards the bottom. I don't think we. Oh, wait. No, that's just a yeah. We don't have it in the Word editor just yet. That's being worked on. Yeah.
If you highlights electrical is asking if you install the Report Studio, will it remove the old Tools Plus, or what do you do if you have an installation already on there?
You would have to uninstall the old tools. It'll pop up right away and warn you that you have to just uninstall the old version first. Yeah.
Mike, yeah, it's a very good possibility. His question is, will we having an advanced report generation webinar? I think we've already seen what we've got here. We can definitely do this again and or expand upon.
Yeah, there's certainly a lot of possibilities there. And there are things that are still being worked on with Report Studio. Like it doesn't have any trending, for instance. There are some more advanced features that aren't built into it at the moment that will be added. I mean, there's a lot of effort right now to add some of these extra features that people have been requesting.
While everyone's on right now, if you want to just send us a question just with maybe a topic you'd like to see perhaps Jason work into a future webinar on this topic or related topics, just drop it as a question. Just give us a subject area, something you want to maybe see covered more. We can certainly work that out.
Sure.
Steffens, let's see, he's having issues with Panorama in Studio. We might have, Stephen, we'll maybe take that offline.
Yeah.
I'll probably suggest maybe you contact Andrew Lomer or perhaps Jason here. I'll give you their email addresses if you hang on for a moment.
Yeah, either of us or, again, the support site is always a good resource.
What about compatibility for any of the aerial platforms, SUAS, FLIR View Pro? All those images should work as long as they're radiometric with FLIR Tools?
Yes.
That was from, we had that question.
They have to be saved as the R JPEG, the radiometric JPEG, so you have to double check your menus on your system and make sure that they're set to the R JPEG format. It's not going to work with regular JPEG or TIFF or any of the other formats that they have. But yeah, the ZenMuse and the View Pro, if they're stored that way, they're fine. Yeah.
Okay. And let's see. Temperature values and all of that. We do have a couple of webinars that are up there. And for those, we might have some new people that are on with us. Yeah. Jason's put some great work together. We've got some other topics as on-demand webinars. Let me just kind of wrestle control back for a second, and I've got a slide on that. Let me just share this. This is the closing template, and what I can do is call up infraredtraining.com/webinars. We've got at least 2 or 3 other on-demand topics that are related to FLIR Tools. So I saw some questions about spot temperatures and general image editing, all of that. Some of those existing on-demand webinars, I think we'll address that satisfactorily.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
And we didn't really delve into the measurement functions and that type of thing, but the FLIR Tools, the YouTube videos, and some of the recorded webinars that we have on FLIR Tools really will spend a fair amount of time on all the different measurement functions and some of those options. So yeah, there's a lot up there that might help you out.
There's our YouTube URL. We've got a YouTube channel. Jason's put some great work in there on getting some of those videos up there. You'll see that it's a separate playlist for FLIR Tools and FLIR Tools Plus.
And we do have a Report Studio playlist with one video right now. It's sort of just a general overview. Okay. It does go into more detail about the wizard and some of that other stuff. I think it's almost 10 minutes long, so you might maybe check that out. We will be adding to it, like I said, over time. Yep.
If someone wants to upgrade, best way to upgrade, do they do that through the store, or how does that work?
To buy a license?
Yeah.
Either the online store or your local FLIR app.
Okay.
Depends. I think in most regions the online store will work. Yeah.
Is it store.FLIR.com? What? I can check that out.
It's if you go to the FLIR.com site and you have to go to the products and just drill down until you find FLIR Tools as an option there to buy it. I have it bookmarked. Okay. We could send it out to you.
Jerry, we hope to have this up within the next week or so. We'll just do a little edit on this, and I'll get it over to our web team, and they'll get it up and posted. So I'm guessing within the next 7 days, this will be up there and live. We'll actually be sending an email out. If you've registered, you'll be notified of when that video is ready, so we'll have that good to go. Social media is another great way to stay in touch with us here at ITC. Any questions that, if you want to send in, if again, you want to do email, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, Instagram, we've got access there, so you can join us online, follow us. We'll also send out updates when things are available. Great channels there that you can use as well. I think we'll wrap it up on that. Anything else, I guess, in conclusion?
Okay, not at the moment.
All right. Well, let me just, like I said, if anything does come up here and we've missed a question, you can get Jason at jason.gagnon@FLIR.com. You can send those questions there. And, of course, general training questions can go to me. We'll wrap it up for today.
Sounds good.
Appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us, folks. I'm Matt Schwegler for Jason Gagnon. We'll be back soon with another live web event. Until then, enjoy the rest of your week. We'll see you soon.